losing your child changes everything, including who you are. I always say there's like a line in the sand in my life. Before I lost Sam, my life before I lost Sam, and then my life after I lost Sam. And so there's lots of things that we need to like rediscover after losing our child. And who we are is one of those things. And so today I just wanted to kind of go into a few things that you can do to rediscover who you are, who is the new you after losing your child. I pray this episode blesses you. Welcome to Unlocking Joy After Grief. My name's Courtney, wife, mama of 6 kiddos, one in heaven waiting for us, and that's why I'm here. In 2017, we lost our 4-year-old son, Sam, and it's my joy to share with you everything this journey has taught me. So if you're ready for biblical encouragement, first-hand lessons, and support from a fellow grieving mama, then let's lace up our shoes and begin walking this road together. Before we get into today's episode, I quickly wanted to touch on my email list. If you are not already a part of my email family, then I highly encourage you to join. I send 2 emails a week that are full of encouragement and resources and more on like my personal life, things that are going on just here in my home. It's just a great family that we're building. I love talking with y'all. I love it when my subscribers hit reply and just kind of let me know where they're at, what they're struggling with, so I can pray for them specifically on something that's going on in their life. So I send out 2 emails a week. The first email is on Monday, and it's just a newsletter that's full of blog posts and podcast episodes that I know will be such a blessing to you. I include a verse of the day and a worship song just to kind of start your week off on an encouraging note to help you get through. And then I send a second email either Thursday or Friday, more toward the end of the week. That's more of just like a conversational email. I might include some resources or some tips on things that I have found that worked in my grief journey. So it's just another way to get more encouragement for your grief journey that you're on. I'll include a link in the show notes of a way that you can sign up for my email newsletter. Also, if you download any of the free resources linked in the show notes, that will put you on my email list as well, where you'll start receiving these emails in your inbox 2 times a week, just to kind of help you get through this grief journey. Know that you're not alone, that not only do you have Jesus with you, but you have me with you, who is a fellow grieving mom who's walked through it and looking back to you saying, you can do it, you can make it. And I'm excited to see you on there. If you're already on there, then I love talking with you each week and encouraging you on your journey. Okay, so let's get into today's episode. I don't know exactly when it was on my grief journey that I realized that I was different. I think I started to realize it when, and I know I've talked about this before on the show, but on your phone, you have all the emojis, the frequently used emojis. And my top 2 were always the laughing face and the heart. And I remember looking at my phone shortly after I lost Sam, and my top 2 emojis were the crying face and the broken heart. And I think that was the first point when I really realized I'm different. I'm not the same person who I was before. And then as I just kept walking, I realized things that used to be easy for me were now hard, and things I'd never struggled with before, I struggle with now. I view things differently. I think differently. So I guess it was just more of like a gradual realization that I am not the same Courtney I was before I lost Sam. And I believe the journey of rediscovering who we are now is just a part of the healing process that we have to go through. And I believe it's a journey that will never really have arrived, but it's going to be like a constant thing that we're going to have to continually work on. I don't think anybody will ever have fully figured out themselves, but But especially when you throw in the mix losing a child, which comes with so many complex emotions and deep grief and deep sadness that I believe literally changes our physical body. That just adds a whole nother layer to it. But I wanted to record this episode to kind of get you going and get you thinking of how you can begin the process of finding out who the new you is. Who is the you now after walking through what you've had to walk through? So I'm going to break this up into like 2 phases. And I believe you need to walk through the first phase of this before you can get into kind of starting to rediscover who you are to start that process. So the first phase that I feel you need to go through is give yourself time to process the grief. This grief that we're having to walk through is so deep and so complex and so hard that if you try and rush and figure out, okay, I need to figure out the new me and what's going on, and I got to figure out all these new things without giving yourself time to fully sit and just process the grief, you won't be able to get anywhere in the rediscovering process. So depending on how long you've been in your grief journey, especially if you're new in your grief journey, I just want you to give yourself time to just process your emotions, process this grief that you're having to walk through. And I have 3 steps that will kind of help you with this process. The first one, I know I've talked about this so much, but it's so important in every stage of your grief journey, whether you're 1 week in or 10 years in. Like this is very important. I want you to fully feel all of your emotions. Give yourself that permission to feel whatever emotion comes up in your grief journey. Whatever it looks like, I don't want you to stop it and try and push it down and bottle it down. And if you don't feel like you have the strength to face whatever emotion comes, that's when you need to rely on Jesus. He will be your strength to help you through that emotion. And again, like I've said before, we don't camp out in that emotion. We feel it, but then we work our way through it. We process through that emotion so we don't camp out in that emotion and let it grow roots in our heart, because then we can grow bitter and not really be able to keep moving through this grief journey and into the rediscovering of who we are in our new life. And a way that you can help fully feel those emotions, to process your emotions, is to journal through your emotions. Our mind can be so muddled that we can't think clearly. So I believe that writing your emotions down, writing what you're feeling, or typing if you're a typer, but just getting it out of your head onto paper in some way can really help bring clarity to what you're feeling in your mind when you can't think straight. So I don't know what it is, but there's something about starting to write that just kind of clears that fog that's in your mind. And I believe God can really speak to you as you're writing. I've had that happen to me so many times as I'm writing out my emotions and my thoughts and things, as I'm a typer. So as I'm typing it out, it's like the Holy Spirit takes over my fingers and He starts speaking to me through what I'm writing. It's so amazing. So if you've never journaled or anything like that, it's very simple. You could just get out a piece of paper and just start writing. And sometimes if I have a block and I don't know what to write, I literally say, I don't know what to write about. But this is what I'm struggling with right now. And I'll just start writing, and it'll just kind of help clear your mind, help you work through those emotions and process your grief. And so the last thing that you can do to help you process your grief is seek support if you feel like you need it. When you're trying to process grief, especially grief after losing a child, it can be so hard. Your mind is so muddled and not clear. So sometimes you might need additional help to help you sort through all those emotions. And that's okay. The grief after losing a child, I believe, is different than any other kind of grief that you will have to go through in your life. It's hard. And sometimes we just need professional help. Like, I'm here. I'm not a professional. I'm not a trained counselor or grief anything. I'm just a mom who has made it through, and I'm looking back to you to say you can do it. Jesus is the answer. He's the way. He's the source of our hope, the way we can get through it. But if you feel like you need professional help to get through those emotions, to help you to continue living your life, then please do it. Seek out a Christian counselor, a Christian therapist who can help you. They are trained to help you process all the emotions that are going on in your mind. A good place to look would be your local church. Go ask your pastor. Tell them that you need a Christian therapist, Christian counselor, something to help you with this grief. And I know that they will know somewhere local to you that you can go and talk to somebody. And I do want to encourage you to make sure it's a Christian counselor, a Christian therapist, because they will partner with Jesus, partner with the Word of God to help you in this process. You want to be very careful who you listen to, who speaks into your healing right now. You just want to make sure that they're partnered with Jesus, because He's the way that we're able to make it through. He's the way that He will sustain us through our entire life until we get to heaven and see Him and our child again. So go seek support if you feel like you need help through this process. Okay, so the first phase is giving yourself time to process your grief. And this time it's different for everyone. It could take however amount of time it takes to help you work through your grief will be different for everyone. But you'll know when you're ready to start kind of that rediscovering process of who you are. You'll know in your heart. And I know that it sounds big, right? Rediscovering who I am. My new life, my new me, that's so big. And so I just wanted to say, when I say rediscovering who you are, you will not know every part of yourself, your new purpose, your new life, everything. It's a journey. It's a process. We're just getting started with this rediscovery process. Phase 2 of this process is embracing the new. And so when you feel like you're ready, this is what I want you to do. First thing is just accepting the fact that you're different now. The you now is different than the you before you lost your child. So realizing that and then being okay with it. Be okay. It's okay that you're different. No one can walk through what we have had to walk through and it not change every part of them. And so that is okay. And so I think accepting that is the first step. It's just saying, okay, that Courtney is gone, but I'm not done. I'm still here. So God still has things He wants me to do here while I'm here. So after you have recognized and accepted and are okay with the fact that you are different and it's okay, this is when I want you to kind of start looking into finding new things to go in your new life. There are certain things that you can keep doing that aren't hard for you, but you just kind of have to weigh it and see, okay, I did this before. If I continue doing it, is it going to be too hard? Sometimes it's not. Sometimes it could even bring healing to you. So one thing you can look at are your hobbies, what you do for fun, the things that you used to do before you lost your child. Try doing them again. You might see that it's actually healing for your heart. It's not hard. It helps you. And if so, then you can continue doing it. Or you do it and you don't hate it. It doesn't hurt, but it feels different. And that's okay too, because there are a lot of things that we do now that aren't necessarily hard, but they just feel different than they did before. And again, that's not a bad thing. Or you try to do it and it's horrible and you absolutely hate it and it hurts so bad that you wouldn't even ever want to do it again. And that's okay too. Especially if it was something that was tied with your child, then it's okay to not ever do that again. Instead, let's find something to replace it with. Something instead of doing what you did before that now is too hard to do, let's find something new. So instead of focusing on something we have lost, which is whatever this is that you used to do that brought you joy and your hobby and things that you did for fun, instead of focusing on losing that, let's put our focus on adding something new. So we're just kind of changing our mindset of I'm losing this to I'm adding this. And we're focusing on that instead of I can't do this anymore. And honestly, guys, it's just kind of like a process of elimination on finding new hobbies, new things that bring you joy. Just try it, see if you like it, see if it's good for you, if it brings healing for you. If it is, continue to do it. That's great. You found your new hobby, something you could do. And if it doesn't, then you just move on to the next thing. It's a lot of experimentation and trying to figure out what feels good to you. And it could change depending on your season of life, your healing journey. I believe your healing journey has different seasons. Things that might feel good to you now might not feel good to you later. Or if you have discovered something new you love to do, and then your grief journey changes enough to where there's a different healing you're on now, maybe you need to change your hobby, what you do for fun, and all that's okay. Like I said, it's a journey. We will never have arrived. We'll never have figured everything out. So we just kind of have to partner with Jesus and the Holy Spirit, just walk through this life, figuring it all out as we go. Another thing you can do that's new, and we're embracing this new person we are, is to join new groups of people who understand what you're going through. This could look like a grief group at your local church. I know that there are some churches that have grief share groups. Grief Share is a great organization that puts together classes in your local community with other people who are walking through grief with you. So you can look up Grief Share. I'll include a link in the show notes of their website where you can look and see if there's a class local to you. You could do an online grief community. There's a Facebook group that I found right after I lost Sam that was very helpful for me. It's called While We're Waiting, and I'll link that Facebook group in the show notes as well. You can join my email list that I talked about earlier. I know it's not a group as in more than one person, but it is a way to connect with me. You can send me prayer requests, things that you're struggling with. I can help you through, send you some encouragement, say some prayers for you. And then another thing that I feel like is hard that we realize we might not be able to do anymore are traditions. Things that we used to do year after year after year that now that our child is gone can be too hard to keep doing those traditions. Again, this is very personal to you and to your life, to your heart, to what you feel is good for you. But sometimes you just need to find new traditions. And again, that's okay. We're okay with all this. And just like I said before, we're not going to focus on the traditions we lost. We're going to focus on the traditions we're going to gain. We're going to add new traditions. And again, this is just going to have to be a case-by-case situation where you take each tradition you used to do, and you might already know without even trying to do it again that it's going to be too hard and you can't do it. But if you're unsure, just try it. Try doing the same thing you did, and it could be okay. You could realize that, again, it's bringing healing to your heart. It's connecting you to your child and those memories that you have with them. And if that's you, then awesome. Keep doing those traditions. Keep bringing healing to your heart. But if you do that tradition and you realize, no, it's too hard, then okay, we're not going to stay there. We're not going to just say, well, forget it. I'm not doing anything. We're going to try and find a new tradition that we can do that brings you joy, brings healing to your heart. And again, you just have to kind of try it and see how it feels. Feels good, keep doing it. If it doesn't, we're going to find something else. And it could change, again, with the seasons of your life, of your healing process. So I hope this was helpful to you. It's, again, such a journey. I'm still rediscovering who I am. I'm beginning to see things and accept things that are no longer a part of me, and finding things that really help me enjoy life again. And if you're not there yet, then I just want to encourage you, you will get there. And you know how I know you will? Because you have Jesus. He is the source of our hope. He's the source of our healing, and He will see you through. He will bring healing to your heart piece by piece as you are starting this journey of rediscovering who you are, the new you, finding these new things to add into your life. He will be with you every step of that journey. I'll see you next week. Love you, friend. Hi, Mama. I hope this episode blessed you. If so, would you mind sharing it with a fellow grieving mama who may need some encouragement on her grief journey? Also, please take 30 seconds and leave a rating and a written review wherever you listen to this episode. Reading your reviews brings so much joy to my heart, and I love connecting with you in that way. All right, I'll see you here next Thursday for another episode. Love you, friend.